Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Nequa Connection. I'm your host, Joe Costello, and today I have the privilege of interviewing a very special guest, John Polgitas. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
So, John is a sophomore this year at Nequa Valley High School, and he's also a tremendous basketball player. If I'm looking right here, I did some background research, and it says here that you're a DuPage Valley All-Conference, first team member, a Daily Herald DuPage County All-Team Area member, and a DuPage Valley All-Conference Academic Team member. Is that true?
Yes.
So when did you start playing basketball?
Well, the first time I picked up a basketball was probably I was 3 or 4 years old, and the first time I started playing organized basketball was in kindergarten.
Okay, so you started from relatively young age, and then what age or how old were you when you really discovered you were, I wouldn't say a lot better than the competition, but kind of that you had a natural gift?
I would say it wasn't until 8th grade where I noticed that I had the potential to maybe be something pretty good in the future, because pretty much until middle school I was just playing for fun.
All right, yeah. Is there anybody you try to model your game after or look up to in the game of basketball?
There's a couple professionals that I try to model my game after, of course, just because they're professionals and they're really good at what they do.
Yeah.
Specifically, like Klay Thompson of the Golden State Warriors.
What would you say the most lethal part of your game is?
Probably my ability to score, my ability to shoot.
All right, so next season, junior year, right around the corner. Talk to us a little bit about some of your goals for next season.
Well, the first goal for the team is we're trying to win conference next year, of course. So we want to just be as successful as we can, and that's going to come with a lot of hard work and practice. And another goal that we've kind of set for ourselves is that we're going to try to win a sectional championship.
Awesome. And then do you have any individual goals for next season? Or?
I'm not too big on individual goals. I mean, of course, I'm going to try to see if I can break the all-time scoring record here. But mainly I'm just focused on being as successful team-wise as we can be.
Yeah, awesome. So I also have some other research here. Last year we're looking at 16 points a game and 6 rebounds a game. Well, how do you stay so consistent?
Well, in basketball and in life, you get out what you put in. So it's kind of just a reflection of just all the hours that I've put in the gym, just working my tail off to be as good as I can.
Right. So how many hours in a week would you say you're in the gym or on the court working on your game?
I would say I'm in the gym. I'm in the gym every day, sometimes twice a day, range from like 3 to 5 hours.
Yeah, so obviously with that much time you're putting into the game and the gym and stuff, what do you think has been the biggest sacrifice for you? Something maybe that you haven't been able to get because of being in the gym so much.
Well, the biggest sacrifice is definitely friends. I have very little time to hang out with friends on the weekends or go to parties or all of that. And that's kind of something that I knew I would have to give up going into it, because you definitely can't give up school. So I just kind of set my heart on basketball, and it led me here.
Right. So speaking of school and basketball, with the amount of skill you possess, do you plan on playing in college?
Yes, I do.
Do you know where you want to go yet, or are you kind of just waiting to find out?
I still have a good amount of time before I have to decide, but I've been talking to various schools.
Good. What motivates you to be the best basketball player you can be?
Honestly, just my love for the game is what motivates me, because I've put basically my entire life into basketball, so I just want to see myself succeed and also see the work that I've put into this point just have an outcome. Right.
So kind of going back to that DuPage Valley All-Conference Academic Team member, we see here that you had a 4.40 GPA. How important is balancing school and basketball to you?
Oh, it's really important, and my parents have always stressed for me since I was a little kid that school comes first. So that's really my output and my perspective of life is just that school comes first before basketball. So I'm always putting my time into my studies.
Right. What do you do to stay on top of things in the classroom?
Well, I get tutors whenever I need them if I'm falling behind or if I don't understand a concept. But at the same time, I always make sure that I'm focused in class, because that's the time where you get to understand whatever you're learning, and I always make sure to study as hard as I can.
Right. What advice would you give to some struggling student athletes?
Well, the biggest piece of advice is don't get turned down when you fail, because failure is a part of life and everybody fails. You always have to fail in order to succeed. So whenever you come across failure, just don't put your head down or see it as a sign that you should give up.
How big adversity and failure, how big a part of your life has adversity been?
It's been with me my whole life. I'm always having to overcome challenges mentally, whether it be mentally with confidence or physically with injuries. It's always been a part of my life.
So to talk about injuries a little bit, what kind of injuries have you had to deal with over your playing career?
In middle school, I broke my wrist, and that kept me out of playing in my 8th grade year. And then this past summer, I had broken my foot in the beginning of June, which caused me to have to sit out of the entire travel season in July.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah. Do you ever meet in option periods or access to meet with teachers to get caught up on your schoolwork?
Occasionally, I'll meet with teachers depending on if I need to, but most of the time I really don't have to because I'm pretty caught up on my work.
Yeah, so going back towards more on-court stuff, do you have any odd superstitions before games or anything that you like to?
I wouldn't say it's really an odd superstition, but before every game I pray. I just thank God for putting me in the position that He's put me in, and that's pretty much it.
So would you say that religion is obviously a big part of your life, so does that help you on the court at all sometimes, you think?
Yeah, being Christian, I'm really close to God, so that I feel like has a big part of my success.
Do you eat any specific meals before games, or?
Well, I don't really have any pre-game meals. I'll just eat whatever my mom makes me, but I always have to eat Skittles before a game.
Skittles? Interesting. A little Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah.
I gotcha. If you could describe your game in one word, what would that word be?
I would probably say diverse, because there's just so many. I have a lot of aspects of my game that I can do and that I'm constantly working on. I can give a little bit of everything.
What is one thing you want to work on in your game to become better at for next season?
I would say probably my leadership, being able to become a vocal leader for my teammates and just make everybody in the team and around me better.
So obviously you're one of the more skilled players on the basketball team, which puts you in kind of an automatic leadership role. What do you do to try to be a good leader out there on the court?
Well, I'm always making sure that I can motivate my teammates just to play as hard as they can, and just have them be able to play it as good as they can, just because a lot of the guys on the team, they'll look up to me if they're not playing so well, if the team's struggling. So I always make sure to keep a positive attitude, because that's the biggest thing.
Right. What would you say, obviously Neuqua Valley, pretty mediocre season this past year. What would you say was your team's best strength and your biggest weakness?
I would say our best strength was our team chemistry. I think at the beginning of the year, everybody knew a little bit about each other, but as we started, after every practice every day, everybody just got really close to where at the beginning, at the end of the year, we were able to just bond together so well and play really well as a team.
Yeah, so team chemistry plays a really important role out there on the basketball court. Who do you say was your closest teammate?
I would say my closest teammate was probably Max Rivera. He's another sophomore guard. Just because I've known him since 7th grade and we've been brothers ever since then. It was really fun to get to play with him this year.
Awesome, awesome. So I guess on that note, what is one thing you would like to tell everyone that they don't know about you already?
If there's one thing I had to tell everybody, it would probably be that I'm ambidextrous.
You're ambidextrous. Mm-hmm. Like you can write or shoot?
I can shoot
both?
Right hand and left hand.
Awesome, awesome. What would you say is, or who is the biggest, inspiration or role model in your basketball career?
I would say probably my dad, just because he's been alongside me every step of the way, and he's my biggest fan, but also my biggest critic. So after every game, or after every performance, he always makes sure to keep me grounded and give me points where I can do better and improve, and I'll forever be grateful for that.
Yeah, awesome. Is Is your mom a big part of your basketball life as well?
Yeah, she is too, but my dad really, he grew up playing basketball, so I really get all my advice that way from my dad, and my mom's just another big supporter.
Awesome, awesome. Well, it was a pleasure talking to you today, John. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today, but I really appreciate you coming out.
I appreciate you having me.